Remember Game of Thrones? Well, how would you even forget that iconic show? Take the regal palace plotting and interwoven storylines of Downton Abbey, the scale, fantasy, world-building, and epic battles of Lord of the Rings, Shakespeare's mastery over the dramatic, thematic, and tragic, and just a little bit of hardcore porn. Stick them all in a blender and enjoy the show that you've got, Game of Thrones. But why are we talking about Game of Thrones now? News is that the creators of Stranger Things said that the upcoming Season 4 would be a Game of Thrones season. Wait, what? They both aren't even related. What's the connection here? So let's see why the creators gave this statement and what could be the possible connection between the two shows. Although the Duffer brothers have remained quite tight-lipped about the upcoming Stranger Things season, they still drop some hints here and there. Quite a tease, we must say. Well, Matt Duffer said that they call the season their Game of Thrones jokingly because it's so spread out. They think that it's what's unique about the upcoming season. Now, let's try to digest the information. Stranger Things is Game of Thrones? Game of Thrones is Stranger Things? Before you explode your head trying to pair your two favorite shows together, let's see what specialties of Game of Thrones could we expect to see in Stranger Things Season 4. The ever-iconic Game of Thrones had the kind of storylines that still give us chills down the spine. Before you get started on how the last season disappointed your dear heart, spoiled the entire show for you, and hurled your fan theories right out the window, stop right there. Game of Thrones was a cinematic masterpiece and the mother of all plot twists. No offense to the mother of dragons. So, if the creators are hinting that the fans would be getting a storyline as amazing as Game of Thrones, then who are we to complain? Secondly, we won't mind having plot twists that totally boggle our minds. So, in case the creators have thought to play with our hearts this year, we would say, bring it on. Matt Buffer had something to add about the multiple storylines in Stranger Things Season 4. He said that Will and Elle have left Hawkins and are in California. Hopper is in Russia. Meanwhile, the rest of the gang is still in Hawkins. So there are multiple storylines happening, all different, yet all connected. This is quite similar to when Daenerys was way far south, Lannisters in Westeros, Starks in Winterfell, and Arya getting trained in God knows where. So there are multiple locations with multiple storylines, and as hinted by the creators, we can expect to see a similar pattern in Stranger Things as well. Another major highlight that you might remember from Game of Thrones was its character development. Theon Greyjoy went from being the psycho villain to someone truly in need of redemption. Sansa Stark became the Queen of Winterfell after the subtle, naive girl that she was before. Cersei Lannister went from being evil to even more evil. Don't even get us started on the rest. So, a lot of character developments happened throughout the 8 seasons. Now, coming to Stranger Things, the kids are not so kids anymore. They're all grown up. So it would be a pretty great time for their inner character to show up and to change as they grow. Also, Hopper is in Russia, so he might be a changed man now in prison. Maybe. We do remember how Stephen Harrington adorably transitioned from being an egotistical guy to an ally of the gang. When we first met Eleven in Season 1, she was a shy girl who could barely utter a word due to the trauma she'd faced. But then we saw her transforming into a strong personality, ready to protect her friends whenever needed. So, character development is a big yes from our side. Well, there is one thing from Game of Thrones that you probably have forgotten. There was usually a major character death involved that shattered us to pieces. We haven't really forgotten how Ned Stark died and how Robb Stark was brutally murdered in the Red Wedding. So, would there be a major character death in Stranger Things Season 4? God, protect our gang. Our little hearts might not be able to take this blow. Also, there was quite a lot of nudity and sex scenes in Game of Thrones. We do not want to go down that road. Come on, they're just kids. Except that they're not. But one thing is for sure, we would be seeing a lot of horror and dark streak of the HBO show in Stranger Things Season 4. The creators hinted some while ago that the upcoming season of Stranger Things is going to be the biggest and most frightening season yet, and they cannot wait for everyone to see it. Matt said that they had no idea how long the show was going to get in terms of the scope because there was a lot of story to tell. He also said that the upcoming season would have a lot of revelations because they wanted to really give the audience some answers to their boiling questions. Also, if you believe Matt, there's no episode in Stranger Things Season 4 that is less than 1 hour. While you got some 35-minute episodes in Season 1, it's a part of history now. Season 4 is going to be double the length of any season, and we can't wait to binge watch it. Now, what are our dear cast members saying about the show? Joe Keery, who plays Steve Harrington, praised the Duffer brothers for their incredible work and said this year's season is pretty amazing, and it's definitely going to be a lot scarier than the others. He also added, it's worth the wait. We take your word, Joe. Finn Wolford, who plays Mike Wheeler, had a lot of interesting stuff to say. He echoed the same words, that Season 4 would be the the scariest season ever, as Duffer Brothers love dark horror stuff. This season still is safe, not in a bad way safe, but in a way that everyone can watch it. He said that the show is getting darker with every season, also becoming funnier, scarier, and more dramatic. And this is just a part of growing up, as they would not always be the same kids yelling Demogorgons every time. He praised Duffers for treating the characters like they're coming of age. Finn compared the show with Harry Potter, as the series also grew darker with character deaths and serious plots. So first Game of Thrones, now Harry Potter. We're definitely in for a major surprise this year. Also in an interview, Millie Bobby Brown, who plays Eleven, said that Season 4 was the most difficult season she filmed, and she saw some of the scariest stuff as a human. Speaking of her character, she said that Elle would be in the darkest state that she's ever been. Also, on the lighter side, Millie talked about dealing with a long-distance relationship, as Elle was in California. Mike and Elle are up for some real relationship issues this season. Well, imagine having to deal with long distance back in the 80s with no Snapchat or anything. Gotta be harder. While we're discussing Stranger Things, let's have a look at some news from our favorite show. Netflix has dropped an official trailer of the season. When we say there's a lot happening in the trailer, you better believe us, because there's literally a lot happening for our brains to handle. Elle and Will are trying to adjust to their new school in California. Max is on Bill's grave reading a letter in one scene, and in the other scene, she's slowly rising from the ground at the same place. Mind-blowing, right? Someone is saying there's a war happening. Hopper is in the Russian prison fighting what he needs to. The gang is at the Creel house. There's a lot of darkness and scary monsters sprawling. We just cannot wait for this to finally release. Next, there could be more to Joyce and Murray going to Russia. Do you remember Alexei, the cute, Slurpee-loving Russian scientist who unfortunately didn't survive? The new pictures of Stranger Things released by Netflix show that Murray and Joyce will be teaming up to rescue Hopper from his Russian prison. While helping Hopper will clearly be their #1 priority, their new location hints at addressing the death of their Season 3 childlike, adorable scientist friend. While Murray Ballman never needed any convincing to help stop the Russians' plans, Alexei's murder could be an important motivating factor in getting revenge on the military and government while at the Russian prison. So, in Stranger Things Season 4, we would be guessing from episode to episode about who falls in love, who changes from good to evil, who dies, who comes back, and so on. Whether the show is Game of Thrones or not, we would have to wait till the season release, which is not far away. Season 4 will premiere its first half of the season on May 27th, including episodes 1 through 5, while the second half, including episodes 6 through 9, will follow on July 1st. And that's a wrap for this video. So, do you think that the upcoming season would be like Game of Thrones? What are your theories for the season? Do let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and click the subscribe button for more videos like this. See you in the next one.